All right, so this is a brief tutorial about how to open a new file in Photopea and how to save a new document in Photopea. So if you haven't already, please access module 1.2 and click the link for Photopea and open up the browser to Photopea. It should look like this. There are a couple ways to open up a new file. You can either use something from this center menu, like a new project, or open one from the computer, or you can go up to File and click New, or use these little shorthand commands. We'll just start from the center and open up a new project, and then it will pull up all these lovely templates for us and a set of customizable options over here on the left. So I can title my document, let's say like cats and dogs. And I can adjust the width and the height if it's going to be by pixels, percentages, millimeters, or inches. As you'll recall from that video on pixels, that determines how many pixels are going to be featured per inch. We can also change the setting to be inches. So if this were a piece of paper coming through print, it would be 17 inches wide, 10 inches high. And then down here is the DPI, the dots per inch, and that determines the resolution. Okay, and resolution is really important to know before you start on any project. And if this were print, we'd want it to be at least 300. So I'll go ahead and set that now, but that's not quite important to this project. It's just something to start thinking about. And then for the background, it could be white, it could be transparent, or it could be a background. And we'll go ahead and keep it set to white. And then we have some options down here for what kind of file we're going to be opening, for what kind of project we'll be working on. So if it's print, it's going to give you all of these options for sizes that will be printed. So A4, that's a type of paper. Letter, that's the most common type of paper we're used to seeing. That's 8.5 by 11. So anytime you see like just basic computer paper, that's what size that is. But then there's all these other customizable standard sizes. Okay, you can do it for screen. You can see some options for screen, and notice that when you click one of the screen options, the dots per inch resolution changes to 72. If it's for screen, it doesn't need to be as high. If it's for print, it'll adjust and go back to 300. So let's go ahead and select for print. And we'll just select letter and hit create. And there's our workspace. So before I go into detail about what all these tools mean and what your workspace is defined by, I'm going to go ahead and teach you guys how to save the file. Okay, so you can save it as a PSD or Photoshop document. This is the native file for Photoshop. It'll save all of your layers and all of your work. That's how we'll be saving for this class. You could also export it as some of these other options. And these are really helpful for saving your project when it's all done and maybe it needs to go to print or you're submitting it for a job, but these will all flatten out the layers. So don't worry too much about what that means right now. I'll be reminding you guys about that as we go. But when you save things as a PSD, that means it retains all of the layers. So when we get into layers, this will make more sense. If you already know what that means, then this is old news. But basically, you're going to save things as Photoshop documents so that when I open up the document, I can see all the layers that you've worked on. And you can continuously go back into that Photoshop document and edit things and edit your layers. Okay? That'll make more sense later, but just make sure that if you are saving things in this way in the future, you're also saving a copy as a Photoshop document.